Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 23rd of January 2023. Talking about the Truth Be Told event on Saturday that I attended. I put a video up with the highlights, but I've got the full video with the complete speeches by everybody on my website now. So if you go along to fairplaynow.net/must, you can get to it and see that through there, and the link will be in the description box below for you. So well worth watching. It is quite a long watch, but you can just break it down, just watch a speech at a time or something. But some very powerful speeches, both by the two main guys who are there, Andrew Bridgen, the MP, and Matt Le Tissier, but also the Big V victims themselves as well. There were some very emotional and very sort of powerful speeches given by them. So well worth a watch and well worth sharing, especially next time someone sort of calls you an anti-V person. You can sort of maybe point them in the direction of these interviews and say, well, look, you know, I've got every reason to be. Take a look at these poor people. So yeah, well worth going and looking at. Now, I want to spend the rest of this video talking about shills and controlled opposition and people calling that kind of thing out. Towards the end of the event on Saturday, when we were outside Downing Street, there was a guy across the road who was basically calling out the organisers of the Truth Be Told people.
Now, apparently today you've had a bit of a speech outside the BBC. I would like to know, who of you paid for it? Ask yourselves, who paid for it? Anybody here pay for that big screen at the BBC? Did anybody pay for those speeches on the BBC? Hey? So what we do is, it's not donations, don't be an idiot. It is the government.
But yeah, the thing is, the question I always ask when people in the freedom movement are calling out other people in the freedom movement, who do you believe? Do you take notice of the person doing the calling out, or are you suspicious of the person doing the calling out? Because after all, what's their motive? And also, if you looked at that guy's setup, that was literally opposite Downing Street, and you know, how much did he have to pay, and you know, what kind of palms did he have to sort of grease kind of thing to get that set up over sort of directly opposite 10 Downing Street? So, you know, who's that bloke? So you've got to ask the question, who do you trust? The people being called out or the people doing the calling out? And to be honest with you, I tend to suspect the people doing the calling out are probably the majority of the time. Some people, yeah, they've got a valid point and they've got evidence to suggest that some of these people and organisations could be a little bit suspect, but I'm of the opinion that the vast majority of people in the truth and freedom movement are sort of good people. They're not controlled opposition, and a very easy way to sort of knock down, you know, if you're the government, a very easy way to knock down and discredit an organisation that seems to be well organised and well funded is to call them out as shills and controlled opposition. So you only need sort of some little bloke with a little YouTube channel or whatever, or some little setup in London like that guy had. You know, wouldn't cost a lot of money, but you can do a lot of damage within the truth and freedom movement by arousing suspicions and everything. And I think the Truth Be Told event was a very slick and very well organised event, with some sort of pretty major, heavy-duty, expensive equipment there. But that's not to say they are automatically controlled opposition. And the people who kind of own that huge great rig and that huge great TV thing could have been in the movement. They could have been awake people willing to donate that for a weekend or a couple of weekends here and there, and for free of charge or for a vastly reduced rate, because it's aligns with their sort of freedom beliefs. And also, if the organizer, Truth Be Told people are well organised, they will be getting donations in to fund stuff like that. And do you know what the comparison I want to make is almost like if you go back to the French Revolution, right? And I remember in school learning that what the revolutionaries did is they'd go around the streets and they'd literally feel your hand, and if your hands were rough, as calluses and everything, they knew you were a worker or a peasant, and it'd be like, all right, on your way, mate, you're cool. But if your hands were sort of soft and smooth, they knew that you were like an aristocrat or previously rich person. So it'd be like, off to the guillotine with you, and that's literally what they did. And if you come across a little bit too slick and a little bit too well funded, it's almost like you're given the metaphorical guillotining of being called controlled opposition, when it might not necessarily be the case. So, and whereas if you're a bit rough and ready, I suppose like me, you don't tend to get the controlled opposition thing so much, although even I have had it in the past, and obviously I know 100% for sure I'm definitely not controlled opposition, but if you come across a bit too slick and your presentation is sort of spot on, almost mainstream media like, you do open yourself up for this kind of attack. Now, and the assumption by these people doing the calling out is that there's absolutely no one in the Truth and Freedom movement who used to be a journalist or a TV presenter or just someone very well funded, very rich, very well funded with contacts with other very rich people who can afford to fund sort of major initiatives within the Truth and Freedom movement and be completely genuine and on our side about it. But the people calling out sort of can't seem to see that, and they're just, as soon as they see anything that's a little bit too slick, little bit well polished, it's, oh no, they're controlled opposition automatically. So that is my little tuppenny's worth there. I personally think that the Truth Be Told movement and their events, especially the one on Saturday, are doing fantastic work. I believe, until I'm presented with any evidence to the contrary, that they are genuine and that they are doing highly valuable work in kind of highlighting the plight of the Big V victims. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter, and I'm happy to have filmed the event and to help them out by sort of spreading the news to viewers here. And by all means, feel free to share the videos that I shot, especially the long one with the full speeches. I think that will be very valuable for many, many people. So yeah, just a few thoughts there. Controlled opposition, I don't think it's nearly as widespread and as big as many people in the movement would have you believe. I haven't really talked about this in the past, but I'm talking about it now, and that is how I'm thinking on that subject. Right now, at least, happy to be proved wrong, as with anything, but that is how I'm thinking now. So with that, gonna leave it, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.